Sirens, Slammers, and Service, a podcast for female first responders by female first responders. My name is Nikki Cloutier, and I will be your host. As a former correctional officer in Alberta for almost 2 decades and the founder of Blue Line Fitness Testing, which provides law enforcement fitness testing and first responder wellness workshops, I started this podcast as a way for female first responders to share the trials, tribulations, and triumphs of their daily work. I want to showcase the unique perspectives, skill sets, and personalities that women bring to a first responder career and share their stories. So get ready to laugh your ass off, learn a whole bunch, and be inspired by some pretty badass women. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back. Buckle up, baby, because I have got some rock star guests. Starting off today with Dawn Taylor. She's the ass kicker hope giver of the Taylor Way. She's a trauma specialist that works with a ton of first responders. She is going to talk to us today about a bunch of unconditional things, including why people should not go on long-term disability. She's been doing this work for 11 years, and she was formerly a restaurant franchise owner. I am so excited for this talk today, guys. Welcome, Dawn. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I am good. I'm so happy to have you on. So our kind of friend, our co-friend, Janelle Kidd introduced us. So thanks, Janelle. Love you, girl. Shout out to you. And yeah, I just really want to break this down because we've just before we started recording, we were having some conversations, and a lot of the stuff that you're talking about completely resonates with me. Same attitude, same, like just put it out there. It is what it is. Say it. Doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. I'm not going to be the person who kind of pussyfoots around things. And you sound like you're very similar to me. So I love this. So I want to kind of jump into this because, again, ass kicker, hope giver. Love that. That's phenomenal.
Named by a client.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Of the Taylor Way, and a trauma specialist working with lots of first responders. And this you said it, why people should not go on LTDI or long-term disability. So I want to jump right into that part, because as first responders, we're told, take the time if you need it. There's things that you need to work on. You need to get away from the job and things like that. So why do you think that people shouldn't go on LTDI?
Because they lose their purpose. They lose their reason to get out of bed in the morning. They stop taking care of themselves. It creates a victim mentality in the majority of people.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
That there's something wrong with them, and no amount of sitting at home watching Netflix and drinking lattes and eating sourdough is actually going to help you heal from what you've dealt with.
Yes, agree with that. I do agree with that. I think there is a portion of time, though. I know for me, my own personal journey, when I left corrections in 2019. I cannot believe it's going on 7 years, you guys. That just fucking blows my mind, like literally. But I know for myself, that first month that I was off, that I left, like I quit, I didn't go on LTD. I didn't do WCB, which in hindsight, I think about it now, and I think I probably should have done that, because there was access. Staying on the payroll, especially if you take the WCB route, does give you access to the therapy. It gives you access to the resources that I definitely should have used and definitely needed. And
I'm not saying it's not good for a time, just not 15 years.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally. Yeah. Cause for me, it was like, I needed that first month. I just slept. I honestly just slept for like, I was sleeping like 18, 19, 20 hours a day that first month, which also told me how physically exhausted my body was, that I didn't even know how tired I was. Like, I didn't even know how burnt out I was, because I'm not a sleeper. Like, I'm not one of those people that can go for naps, like that enjoys like, like, oh, for my afternoon that I'm doing nothing, I'm just going to go sleep. Like, that's just not me. I get people that are like that. I have 2 of my very good friends are nappers and sleepers, and they love it. But it's just not me. And so when I was sleeping that long, I was like, holy shit, like, my body was really, really burnt out. If it's saying now that I need this amount of sleep just to get back to like normal, wow. So, but yes, I do agree, because having been a manager and having had people off for 2 years on LTDI before they get cut off, I was like, what are you doing though while you're on? Like, are you going to get help? Are you doing the work you need to, or are you just taking this, like you said, as an extended vacation to watch Netflix and drink lattes and just do nothing for yourself? So I do agree with that.
Well, and there's so many facets to it, right? So there's everything from the fact that they've scientifically proven that we hold our repressed emotions in our cells. So your body goes into fight or flight response mode and it can't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you've seen so much, you've heard so much, you've dealt with so much, you've experienced so much, you're burnt out. But it's like you have an empty fridge, you have no groceries, and you're expecting to continue cooking.
Yes.
Right? You need to actually go get more groceries. And so with that, some of the things that I'll recommend for clients is I'm like, no, you need to go for IV therapy and actually get vitamins and minerals and nutrients and your adrenals under control and your cortisol levels under control. Like, give you a base foundation, right? The amount of people that I've done rage work with, where I'm like, no, you have anger in you. Let's release this. Let's rage and actually help you feel some of these feelings that are trapped in your body instead of being like, no, let's just meditate. Have a moment of gratitude. You're fine. No, sometimes you're just really fucking angry and you've bottled that up so many times. You're the Hulk on the verge of exploding and you're trying so hard to hold it together. So then you're doing everything in your power to numb that. Hey, what if we were actually just allowed to feel some of those feels in a safe way?
Yes, that is true. Because it's funny when you like process your own stuff, you think that everybody processes it the same way. So like when I was going through rage, I just would rage. Like I am not a holder inner. I am not like, I am just like, if it fucking pisses me off, I'm going to snap and I'm going to explode and I'm going to scream and I'm going to rage. Right. And
but most people don't.
This is exactly it. So for me, I needed, like I always say, when I started teaching yoga, when I found yoga, and this is like, oh my God, how many years ago now? Like 12 years ago? That's insane. I'm so old, you guys. But like, I remember going to yoga and being like, oh, this, I actually do need this. Whereas like, again, that's the thing. We're like, oh, we all need yoga. We all need yoga. We all need meditation. We all need silence, right? Yeah, I did. I for sure did because I was, and we say yin and yang, right? I was yang all the way. I was like rage, hot, fire, energy, just.
You needed the cool down.
I needed the cool down. But when you think about it, like you said, most people are not the ragers. They go silent. It goes inside. They get fresh. Yes. And so, yeah, they do need to let it out. Whereas I was just like, I'm letting it out all over the place. And that's not nice to people.
That's the whole like learning how to do it in a healthy way. And that's where when you're in charge of your emotions, instead of having your emotions in charge of you, that is like one of the biggest parts of healing.
Yeah. Yes.
Is to be like, no, I have healthy ways to release my anger and my rage instead of going batshit crazy on everybody.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I'm old enough to know the term go postal. Right. And that's where I think that a lot of the system is screwing it up. Because it's like, oh, you're not doing good. Oh, you're broken to this level. And now we're going to just medicate and you need to stay at home and we're going to just like pay you out. And it's like, no, you're not actually broken. Your body has just stepped in with beautiful protection mechanisms that are trying to save your life. And they need you to take care of them.
Yeah. I think when you were talking about like even the physical, like fixing the physical, right? The nutrients, the vitamins, the like regulation of your system, because that's the other thing that I noticed when I, like, again, sleeping for 20 hours a day, clearly my body was out of whack, even though the whole time I had been working out regularly. I've been playing sports. I've been doing yoga, teaching yoga, right? Like I thought I had it under control. I thought I was keeping myself healthy. But like totally clearly wasn't. And so, yeah, even just resetting your physical body back to normal. And like, for me, again, it was going on a normal schedule, right? Instead of being on a shift work schedule, I was getting up at the same time every day. I was going to bed at the same time every day. I was eating at like regular intervals,
times,
actual food and not shoveling it into my face as fast as I could because the next call was coming or the next thing I had to go to was happening. And like, once I started even doing that reset on my body, it was like, I feel like I almost like came out of like a disassociated state once I came back into like a normal, and I was like, holy shit, No wonder I was making, ridiculous decisions and doing stupid shit and not thinking things through and just reacting as quickly, to the next thing, without actually processing what I needed to do or how I needed to react to that situation or what I needed to, have my staff do, like things like that. And so to me that, the physical, and we talk about it all the time. We've talked about this on the podcast, like, eat well, drink well, sleep well, take care of yourself physically.
But people are like, they're too overwhelmed.
Yep.
They're too overwhelmed to do that. And I think I want to go to the dissociative state for a second. So people look at dissociation as this like horrible, negative, awful thing. And picture it like 25 little yous, right? So like you have a bad day, there's 25 little Nickies hanging out in your body, and something bad happens, something traumatic happens, something big happens. One of them is like, hey guys, I got this. You all go hide. I'm going to take one for the team and I'm going to take care of this right now for you, right? That little piece takes all the shit. Then all of a sudden, everything kind of goes back to normal again. He kind of goes into hiding, or she goes into hiding to like heal a little bit. And this is what's happening. These are the dissociative states that we're going in. And it's like our body is just trying to protect us. It's shutting off memories. It's shutting off visuals. It's shutting off situations. It's this beautiful protection mechanism. The problem is that our protection mechanisms are built at a place where they're no longer valid half the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if a situation happens, it triggers your nervous system, right? That's what registers in your body as trauma. Based on that, we set a standard for ourselves. That standard is that protection mechanism, right? So say you cried one too many times and you got beat for it. You're like, new standard, never crying in public again. No one will ever beat me for being happy or for being sad, right? You've set a standard for yourself. This is a protection mechanism. You cannot out willpower a protection mechanism. It is like trying to hold your breath to die. You can't do it. It's a protection mechanism, right? From there, you set your expectations of yourself, which is like, I have to be happy all the time. I have to laugh all the time. I can only cry in private. I can only cry if a certain song is playing when the moon is aligned with the stars in this way, and I'm laying in my bed under this cover with this like whatever your weird expectations are. As long as we're meeting our expectations of ourselves, yay, we're fabulous. As long as everybody else is meeting our expectations of us, yay. But if not, we immediately go to a place of judgment because we are scared we're going to end up back in that situation again. So if you set this protection mechanism at the age of 2, 5, 7, 10, 15, 20, 25, now you're like, hey, wait, I'm 40 and I'm still afraid to cry. What is going on? You have to go back and heal the situation in the first place, right? So when you find yourself going into those states, it's going, okay, when did I have to create this expectation of myself? When did I have to create the standard for myself? That will help you figure out what is actually going on behind the scenes.
I'm like mind blown, because as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, hi, were you in my house as I was a child growing up? Did you live in my house? Cause wow. But it's true. And like this is the one thing too, like I had like not a coming to Jesus moment, but a couple of weeks ago when I was like, as a parent, right? Like I have 3 girls, fuck me, 3 and I am really hitting the like, holy God, buckle up. Cause like, oh my God, they are testing me in ways like, again, I said to a different friend, I was like, I will go back to the terrible 3s, the tantrumy 2s. I take the teens, the preteens, oh my God. Like I did not, there's a reason they don't tell you about it. Like there's a reason they're just like, just focus on these first 5 years. If you can survive these first 5 years, you can survive everything, because they didn't want to tell you that it gets worse.
Right.
But there was this thought of like, like as parents, we play such a huge role in our children's lives, and we truly do shape who they are, how they respond to situations. How we respond to things is how we teach them to respond to things. And yes, there's a big push and a big movement around now, like I'm going to be different than my parents. And I think every parent has said, I'm not going to do this
on this planet says that. I don't understand why that's a big aha moment.
Yeah, well, I think it's because
you know what I mean? Not for you, but like for us society,
no.
like everyone's like jumping on this bandwagon right now. And I'm like, Who has ever grown up and been like, I want to be exactly the same as my dysfunctional family?
Yeah. Well, I think it's because now there's social media. So now you can
Right?
share it.
Now
And
we
now
see
people
it.
now people are like, oh, wait, like your family's dysfunctional too? Oh, it's not just mine.
Everyone.
Oh, okay. Got
Trust
it.
me.
Right.
Trust me.
But
I could tell you stories about clients.
well, and then that's the thing, right? And so then I was like, oh my God, like I am fucking my children up. Like I know I am because of the way I react to things, because of things that I, like, and I catch myself afterwards. I'm like, oh, probably shouldn't have said that. Or like, oh, I probably shouldn't have reacted that way. And then, I try and go and fix it, but the damage has been done. Like I've had the reaction. They've, imprinted this into their brain. Right. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm raising screwed up kids. And oh my God, what am I like as a mom, I'm failing. And then I thought to myself, you know what? Like at the end of the day, my kids are going to grow up and they're going to look back and they're going to have probably these dissociated, like they're going to have these things and they're going to heal and they're going to find their own way in the world. And I think that just is also like the way things go, right? It just like everybody is going to live their lived experience.
You
and
mean being a human?
yeah, fair. But that it's going to be, like that they're going to be okay. I mean, yes, are they going to have some trauma? Probably yes. Everybody is going to have some trauma, but hopefully it's going to be minimal and hopefully I'll be able to help them along through it. But yeah, it's to me like that whole thing on, like if this happened, you built up this defense mechanism to protect yourself. And so therefore you will never do that again, or you will never let anybody see you do that again or react that way again. Because it is like, that's exactly right. You were not allowed to cry in my house. If you cried, you got a smack. And so I taught myself very quickly many ways not to cry, many ways not to show that I was weak, that that this was affecting me in
why
any
you're
way.
aggressive and angry?
Exactly.
Because that was socially acceptable and crying with it. Yeah.
Yep. 100%. And now I've flipped the complete opposite. Now I cry at everything. And my kids make fun of me all the time because it'll be some random thing on the TV and they can sense. They'll just all of a sudden there's like the part of the movie and my whole family will just like whip their heads and look at me. And I'm on the couch like trying not to cry so that they don't notice me, right? And they're like, Mom, oh my God, it's not even that sad, Mom. And I'm like,
right?
But it's so beautiful. Like, look, they're falling in love. And they're like, oh my God, Mom.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Blue Line Fitness Testing is a premier law enforcement fitness testing and training center based in Edmonton. Specializing in helping individuals prepare for the physical demands of a career in law enforcement, we offer comprehensive fitness evaluations, specialized training programs, and classes tailored to meet the unique needs of our clients. Our facility hosts a range of classes and are committed to fostering a supportive and empowering environment where clients can achieve their fitness goals. Our team includes experienced trainers who bring specialized expertise in law enforcement, self-defense, personal training, and rehabilitation. We engage through our community through challenges, events, and our podcast, and we are dedicated to helping individuals succeed in their fitness journeys and career aspirations in law enforcement. Are you looking to get started with your career? Come see Blue Line Fitness Testing, and we'll get you there.
Totally. But I want to go back to the overwhelmed person who's listening and is like, yeah, okay, sure. So I have to get up and I have to wake up early and I have to journal and I have to read and I have to write and I have to eat the right foods and I have to work out and I have to have kids and a spouse and I have to have a career and I have to, and then I have to make sure that my parents are okay, my grandparents are okay, and I have to make sure that no, get up and put on some damn pants. Start there. Literally, start there. I think one of the hardest parts of society right now and the self-help bullshit industry that we're part of is the fact that it has set this unrealistic expectation of how to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And that as long as we do these 45 things and do them perfectly, we're going to be okay. And the problem is that when you're drowning, if you look at your emotions and say scale of 1 to 10, 1 is like, I literally want to dig my own grave. 10 is the best day you've ever had in your entire life. And you're sitting at a -2. It is harder to get from -2 to 0 than it is to get from 0 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so when someone is at a -2, sometimes it's not like, okay, so we're going to dig in and we're going to do all the things and change 43 things in your life, because you're like, I'm hardly getting out of bed right now, and you expect me to rapidly change everything. No, literally start with one thing. One thing.
So what would you suggest? Like, again, putting pants on, also great idea. Pants on, bra probably for me.
Literally, like the dumbest thing. So I test it every once in a while without realizing I'm even doing it. And I did it again this like January 1st. I was like, I'm going to stay in pajamas all day. I'm going to be lazy. It's my day off. I was brutal. I was like the worst mood that day. And then I like finally, it was like 4:00. My husband's like, you were so crabby. And I'm never crabby. And he's like, what the hell's going on? I went and had a shower and put on actual clothes. And I was like, oh, it was like a new person. I was like, why do I feel like I can breathe? And he's like, Dawn, you know, you don't handle not having clothes on. Like my close friends joke that I like sleep in jeans. Like they're like, you are the girl that doesn't like, I don't even own a pair of yoga pants. But here's the thing. There is something about self-respect. There's something about actually putting yourself together in a way that makes you feel like you are together.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe for you, it's literally put on some damn pants. Like take off the jogging pants, take off the yoga pants, take off the pajama pants, put on a pair of jeans, right? If it's summer, put on a sundress or something. It doesn't even have to be fancy. Wear a hoodie over top. I don't care, but like something. Shave your legs, right? Shave your face, wash your hair. Go to a hair salon and be like, I just need it washed. Can you just wash my hair? Like, hey, at my darkest years where it took every ounce of my being to not kill myself every single day, I literally paid $7 to $10 every 3 to 4 days to go to like a Great Clips and have them just wash my hair for me. Because I didn't even have the energy to do that.
Yeah.
But I knew that it was like this slippery slope, literally greasy hair. Hello. But it was a slippery slope to like, I can't recover. Right? So it's starting with one thing. It's one little tiny action. You don't need more than that to start change. You can literally do anything and everything you want in the entire world with 3 tiny things. It's a tiny bit of determination. Like, I'm not talking a lot. I'm talking like a minuscule amount of determination. No shame and one action. That's it. You do that over and over and over and over and over again. You literally can do anything you want. I had a client years ago that I got a call from my mom and she's like, my kid wants to be dead. He's struggling horribly. He won't talk to a therapist. Someone told me that you're super unconventional. And I was like, yep, let's go. He's like 20. So first I show up and I'm like, hey, take a shot of whiskey to calm your nerves, which unconventional, yes. But I was like, if that's what you need to calm your nerves, let's do it. And then we just walked through a nature reserve. That's all we did. We just walked because I was like, no, you don't want to sit across from me and stare at somebody. You need to physically move your body. Let's go for a long walk. And we walked and I was telling him this and he's like, I can't get out of where I'm at. And I was like, we're going to make a deal. And he goes, what? And I said, my husband, it's his whole crazy story, but he had jokingly thrown 52 cents on my desk and been like, buy yourself a little something pretty for your birthday. And I laughed and I was like, oh, I'll buy myself something real pretty. And it was this whole joke because he hates gifts. And I still had it in my pocket. He'd given it to me that morning. I had flown in to this town and I looked at him and I said, this 52 cents in my pocket, if I can turn it into something worth at least $800 and sparkly and pretty by the end of the day, you're going to do 6 sessions with me. And he's like, yeah, sure, deal. So I like jump in front of a guy on a bike and I'm like, ah, do you have anything bigger or better than 52 cents? And I tell him the story and he starts laughing and he goes, yeah, I have $1. I was like, thank you. Right. Well, I keep doing this. I go to businesses. I'm like, do you have any swag? I'm like digging through garbage. Like literally I did anything and everything. And at the end of the day, and I keep it in my desk. So people listening, you can't see it, but I'm going to show you. It took me 6 hours. This is a Belova pearl face diamond crusted watch.
Oh my God.
Worth $880. Yeah, that's right. 52 cents. Because it was that one little piece of determination, no shame. Don't give a shit what anybody else around you thinks about what you're doing. And one tiny action.
That is incredible. So, like, again, guys, if you're listening to this, write those things down, voice note yourself, whatever you need to do. I'll be making a soundbite out of this, so don't worry, you'll be able to hear it multiple times. But determination, no shame, and one tiny action. I love that, because there's so many things you can break down. Like, you don't have the determination. Okay, fine. You can find determination. Oh, you feel guilty all the time, or you don't want to
find
be
someone else
embarrassed.
who has the determination for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Or, like, again, because you can suck at one of these things, right? You can be the person that's like, oh, I don't want to be judged. Oh, I don't want to, like, take myself out of my butt. That you can be you. You can be that. Okay. But you can also have determination and be willing to take a tiny action. Well, then you can find the no shame. Or you can be the person who's action oriented. You're like, I can do the things. I can do the things. Even when it's shitty, I can do the things, right? That was me. I'm like, I can still bang out the actions. I can still do it. Even when the rest of the world, like the rest of my life is falling to pieces. You want action? Action Jackson, here I am. I'm coming at you, right? So I could do that. But,
Because your
like,
actions equal your worth. That's how you were raised.
Yes,
You
exactly.
know you're loved if the actions are happening.
Yes, exactly. Oh my
Yep.
God, seriously, you were in my house when I was being raised. Oh my God. And then determination, right? The other one is like, if anything, if you don't have the other two, you probably have determination to get out of where the fuck you are, right? Like, whatever it is, you don't want to be in that situation. You don't want to be feeling the way you feel. You don't want to be working in the job that you're working in. You don't want to be, like, knowing that you're thinking deeper and deeper and deeper. You have determination to get out of that, which means then those other two things can happen. So yeah, that is, I love
for the
that.
person listening who's also like, fuck you, Dawn. You don't even know where I'm at and how dark I am. Yeah, I do. Go to my website and read my story. Born to a mom who tried to miscarry me her entire pregnancy, who hated me her entire life, died when I was 28. Literally couldn't touch me without physically retching for the first 2 years of my life. At 12, I broke my back, top 6, bottom 6 vertebrae, cracked, fractured, or broken, and had to relearn everything. 14, that same summer I drowned and was pulled out of a river and revived. At 14, I was sexually abused by my uncle 14 times over 2 days. At 15, I had a severe eating disorder down to 87 pounds. At 16, I attempted suicide. I actually died. They found me and revived me. And at 17, I had a brain aneurysm, lost my entire identity, and had to regrow everything, relearn everything, and then life got hard.
That's insane.
That was just high school. Went on to deal with a drug addiction from pain, where I was on up to 40 milligrams of Butrans patch a day and 26 Percocet a day for 10 months. Yeah, had to overcome that. Let me tell you, jonesing for drugs is super fun. Rehab is super fun. Infertility, death of a parent, loss of a parent, abandonment of a parent. Like, I've stood in an emergency room and watched my husband code multiple times. Yeah, been there, done that, have the trophy to show for it. And
That's insane.
Still fucking love my life. And here's why. Because I figured out how to overcome it. And one of the biggest things, my niece and I had a conversation just before Christmas. And she asked me, she's like, Auntie Dawn, how do you get through hard stuff? Because she's dealing with some anxiety and some stuff, right? And she's like, how do you do it? And I said, you know what, kid? I refuse to die pathetic. And she was like, what? And I was like, no. I said, at my funeral, it's not going to be that I just like peacefully died in my sleep. It's not going to be that like, oh, she struggled. Oh, poor Dawn. Poor Dawn. No. I was like, I'm going to die because like my parachute didn't open, or I like was jumping into a river to rescue somebody, or I like jumped off a cliff, like something crazy is going to happen. But I said, I refuse to die pathetic. And sitting at home and not fighting for myself is pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I hit a point where I was like, I'm stuck with me for the rest of my life. I'm it. I am my brain. I am me until I'm dead one day. Like, that's it. There's nobody else in here rescuing me. right? I refuse to live in this head for the rest of my life. I refuse to live in this trauma for the rest of my life. I refuse to feel these feels for the rest of my life. And if I'm going to look at it and go, no, I'm not going to have anyone pity me at my death, at my funeral, then I need to figure out how to heal this so I can actually wake up in the morning and want to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's that tiny piece of determination. It's finding what it is that you're going to fight for. Do you have a kid you need to fight for? Do you have a spouse you want to fight for? Did you buy chickens and you are like, I got to take care of these damn chickens or they're going to die. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to say the opposite of every therapist, psychologist, and coach on the planet and tell you, don't fight for yourself, fight for someone else if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Because often we don't believe we are worth fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
We believe that life would be easier for everyone around us if we were dead. We believe we're an inconvenience. We believe that people want to reject us. We believe those things to the core of our being. So when someone's like, you need to fight for yourself, you're like, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So find something exterior. Fight for your next door neighbor that needs you to like weed her garden in May. Right? Like find something exterior that you're like, that is why I have to stay alive. That is why I need to fight for myself. That is what's going to get me through another day, week, month, year.
Yeah.
I need to heal so that my kids know what it's like to heal.
Mm-hmm.
I need to heal so that I can prove that a brain aneurysm is not going to take me out at 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
You're right. Like that is one thing I know when I was at my darkest, that was like, again, it was a hard thing because I was like, oh, like for me, it was, I didn't want to die because I felt like I was, like not worthy or that people would be better off without me. For me, it was, I was so tired. I was so sick of being in the fucking shit that I was like, I just want to go to sleep and never wake up. That was my side. And like, I said this to, and I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the podcast. I feel like maybe I have, but for me, it was, I explained it to a good friend who, after I kind of pulled myself out of the shit, I said, it was like, it's this little teeny voice in the back of your head that just kind of starts, like just whispers at first. And it's like, well, if you just were sleeping, then you wouldn't have to deal with any of this. Like if you just were sleeping.
Oh my gosh, that little devil on your shoulder that's like, life would be so much better without this.
Yes, totally. Yeah. And then as the shit got worse, the voice got louder and louder. And I was explaining to her, I said, like at first when it was just a whisper, the rest of my brain would come clamoring in and be like, no, your kids and your husband and your friends and your
right,
all these things. Right. And it would just kind of like basically shut this little whisper down. And then I'd be like, okay, like shake that off, like silly, whatever, shush. Right. But then it would come back and it would get louder and louder and louder and louder. And then eventually the whisper was louder than the clamoring. And that was when I was like, holy fuck. This is how this happens. Like, because before I had coworkers that had committed suicide. I had friends that had committed suicide. And at the time I was saying to myself, how could they do that? How could you, when you have these kids, you have this family,
actually really easy.
Yeah. When I hit that point, I was like, because the whisper is now louder than the clamoring, and the whisper is all that I'm fucking hearing. And so that is how that happens. And to me, again, that was like, holy fuck, like that is how that happens. That is how that happens. And so I agree. I think if you have those, sensations of like, I don't want to fight for me. I don't want to fight for, this being that I am, or I'm not worth it, but you can look around and you can fight for something else that, find that determination, find that thing that you want to fight for. And it could be something ridiculous to you, that you think is ridiculous, but it might be the one thing that saves your life. So that is incredible. That is a very profound share. Like that's just, thank you for that.
You're welcome. I think I felt so broken for so many years. So broken. And I'd sit in a psychologist's office and I felt like I had to protect them from my story, because if you've been to therapy, You like start talking about the hard things that have happened and the trauma. And then when their jaw drops because they're shook by your story, you're like, oh, you're unsafe because now anything I might tell you or anything I might reveal to you is going to break you. Because what I've seen and what I've experienced, what I've done is too gory, gross, evil, whatever it is, right? That I believed I was broken and that nothing could ever help. And really it was going, no one's ever too broken. Are we going to have tender parts of us? Yes. I will not use the word sensitive because I hate that word. But I often equate it. I was working with an EMT a little while ago and I was like, no, I said, we're all just like fruit. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, some days we're a pomelo. You could play soccer with us and not damage that fruit because there's a 2-inch thick rind on that sucker. And we're like sour on the inside and we're fine. Right? And then there's days we're a peach where if you breathe on us wrong, we bruise and make a mess. And I said, and everything in between doesn't mean we're not still part of the fruit basket.
Yeah.
Right? We're just at different levels. And I know for her, it's something that we use for wording on things where it's like, where are you at today? And some days she's like, I think I'm like a banana. Like, scratch me and you're going to leave a permanent brown mark. But I'm actually feeling pretty good. Like, I'm doing all right. Right? And we use it as ways to explain where she's at and for her family, where some days she's like, no, today I'm a peach. Like, today I'm just on edge and everything is going to trigger me. And I have to drive through all the crime scenes where I've seen dead bodies. And I have to like face the people that were there. Or there's dates that come up on calendars, all of these things. Well, that's because our body holds that. It holds that. And then it creates stories around things to protect us. Right? It's why that little voice in your head gets so big.
Yeah.
Because deep down, our bodies are wired to like save us and protect us. And they're like, oh, that hurt. Nope, not doing that again. Oh, that hurt. Nope. Right? You're hurting too bad. We should just know. Let's not. Right? Fight against it.
Yeah.
I just laugh because like emotions are the most fickle bitches on the planet. Emotions are like these petulant toddlers that you give them like the sandwich with the crust cut wrong and they like lose their ever living mind. And then you like make a face at them and they're giggling their heads off and you're like, what just happened? They're like, I always joke that toddlers are like bipolar demons in like the greatest way. But emotions are like that. And yet we think that the emotions that are coming up are what's actually our truth. We think that they're real. We think that they're honest with us. We're like, no, this is what I'm feeling. And I'm like, okay. Could it be that your emotion is lying to you? Could it be that your emotion is not the correct emotion for the moment? For some reason, we've been convinced that our emotions are supposed to be in charge and we run our worlds based on our emotions. Guys, they're fickle bitches. Like they really are. Like, have you ever had a day or a moment where you go from like, have you ever even watched a movie or read a book where you go from like raging angry to laughing your ass off to like the greatest mood ever to like so depressed you want to die in like 43 seconds? Tell me those are who you should be listening to.
Yeah. That's exactly right. It is. It's true. When you say that, I'm like, you're right. And we have been taught, oh, listen to your emotions will guide you. But they lie to you. And they're also
all
like
the
a product.
time.
They're a product of what you've created, that emotion that you
Right?
that you created from this thing or that thing. Well, that's how you're going to react to it because that emotion is now associated with that's how that's supposed to be reacted to is with that emotion, which isn't always right. Yeah.
Oh, you want to talk? Someone said to me one time, they're like, no, my emotions don't lie to me. And I was like, didn't you just leave an abusive marriage? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, your emotions made you fall in love with this idiot. Your emotions made you go back to this idiot a million times. Your emotions gaslit you. You gaslit yourself to stay in that relationship. You have really mean emotions.
Yeah.
And she just looked at me. She's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I was like, no, the more we can acknowledge that and be like, Emotions are just ingredients in my recipe of life. That's all they are. They're just seasonings.
Yeah.
Right? But maybe I put too much garlic in it. Maybe I accidentally put in cayenne pepper instead of chili pepper in this moment. Could it be that my emotions are full of shit right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And I think the more we can challenge ourselves on that, the more we can actually sit with that. It was interesting. So January 1st, I looked at my husband at one point and I was like, this is such a weird feeling in my body. Cause I'm really big on like, I just want to sit with my emotions and figure out what the hell they're doing and why they're even there and then decide if I'm okay with them or not. And he's like, what? And I'm like, if I wasn't me in this moment and I didn't know that this is complete and utter bullshit, I'd think I was really depressed. And he started laughing and he's like, would you know? And I was like, yeah. I said, but how many people today, because they're exhausted from Christmas, they're exhausted because like more people died the week between Christmas and New Year's than the whole rest of the year combined in seniors' homes. Like there's so much death attached to it. It's a reminder of what we have and don't have when it comes to family. It brings in alcohol with family, which causes chaos. It shows us how little money we have or how little opulence we have or how many friend groups we're lacking or how many parties we weren't invited to. Like Christmas is horrible for the majority of people. We just pretend it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's the darkest time of year. Then all the trees get put away and all the lights get shut off on houses. And we're in this like weird, I just got my credit card statement, doom and gloom of January, and everyone's falling apart and the weather's all over the place. Like I said, how many people today are feeling horribly depressed and thinking, what a horrible start to the year. And they really just need a shower.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And he laughed and he goes, yeah, that would be an interesting number to know.
Yeah. I think, like you said, we have that ability to build things up that aren't necessarily true, like you said, in your brain about like, the constant, and then it's like, oh, well, this must mean this, and this must mean this, and this must mean this. And so therefore this is reality when it's like, no, like just take yourself out of the situation a little bit, just take your like scale it back a little bit, do a little, like, yeah, go take a shower. And like there is something to be said about water too. Like, I mean, I will say that like go for a swim, get in a lake, go whatever, like fucking stand outside in the rain, whatever, like, whatever it is. There's something to be said for water and that actual physical washing away of whatever
is going on.
Yeah, for me, for sure. I definitely notice that anytime I'm in water, I'm like, oh, I feel better. Okay. Like,
also a good scream. Let out a guttural roar scream in that shower. If that's all you did today is go have a shower and go back into your pajamas, but you let out one good scream in that shower, I bet you've shifted something by a couple degrees.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of these unconventional methods, because again, you've given so many, which is hilarious, but what are some of the other things that you like, again, because dealing with first responders, I say this, we're different. I feel like we are different in a way in that I think we have to bring more into therapy because we have these other, like, oh, I have this protector role and I have this, savior role and I have this. And I'm not saying that general members of the public don't have that, you're a protector of your family, you're a savior, right? Yeah.
It's totally different when you're in a first responder role. It is 100% different because it's not even just that you have that expectation of yourself. Society now has that expectation of you.
Mm-hmm.
It is totally different.
So what are some of those things that you say to your first responder clients? Unconventional things that are like just ways to get us out of our head.
Oh my gosh. The one thing, like I have a photobiomodulation therapy machine in my office, which is medical grade red light, which is one of the top treatments for PTSD, complex PTSD, anxiety, and depression right now in Europe. So that's one of the things that I'll use with clients if they're local. I also have clients that travel in to use that. I'm based out of Edmonton. Some clients need essential oils. I've walked crime scenes with clients where they needed to go back to the scene of the crime and actually like fully in detail talk about what they experienced, what they saw, what happened. to actually allow their body to process and be like, okay, what is actually going on here? I have done rage work with people. I literally have rented out rage rooms in Vancouver and flown there to work with clients where I had glass companies bring in glass and we just like blurred death metal and raged for hours because that's what they needed. Anything. I have clients that need to sit in a car and drive. My longest session to date in a car was 17 hours.
Oh my God.
But I've had clients that only felt safe in water and they brought a bathing suit. We ran a bath for them and they sit in a bathtub because that's what they need.
Mm-hmm.
It's very what works for you, what works for your body.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Part of it is I'm always like, no, tell me your grossest, scariest, darkest story and see what my reaction is going to be. And I remember multiple times over my career where clients went, I didn't break you. And I was like, no, you didn't even hit the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, the shit I've heard doing this trauma work, like you literally didn't even hit top 10. Like you don't get on the trophy for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, all right, now let's have this conversation.
Yeah.
But I'm no bullshit. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. But if you need someone to just give you a giant hug and hold you when you cry, I'll also do that.
Yeah. I think there is a big part of that too, as first responders is, and you touched on it earlier, is that fear that the horrible things that we've seen and the horrible things that we've, experienced when we don't tell people about it because it's so fucking horrible. So we don't want to tell our families about it because we don't want to traumatize them. Right.
Yeah.
And so then when you go to the therapist and you're like, this is the person I'm supposed to tell, you're still scared. And I say that with quotation marks, scared to tell the story, hesitant to tell the story because you don't want to transfer the shit that you saw to somebody else. It's bad enough that you fucking saw it, right? You don't want to then give it to somebody else and be like, so let me share this really, really horrible, awful shit that I saw or, had to deal with.
Yes.
And now somebody else in the world also it's bad enough that you, your partner, and whoever the fuck else was in that scene or that call had to deal with it. You don't want to. So when I think there's a sensation of, when you find out, like, yeah, that's okay. Like I've heard worse. It's like,
you know what? When I'm like, I've been to the depths of the hell of my soul and I know what's in those dusty cobweb corners. And I've got the world's greatest light switch for those areas of your world. Right? Where it's like, no, I've been there and I'm not scared to walk you through it.
Mm-hmm.
What the client that named me the ass kicker hope giver years ago, he had written a testimonial and he's like, you faced my demons with no fear and walked me right through them. He's like, nothing fazed you.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing fazed you. And I'm like, oh man, the things I've heard and seen in my day, but also the things I've experienced, right? I get it. But I also get it from a standpoint of my husband. As of April, my husband and I have been together for 30 years and married for 26 this year. I get marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And we're happy and love each other. Like I can actually see that. We're really weirdly happy. But I know what it's like to have a sick spouse. I know what it's like when you're like, I don't know how to explain to you why I can't drive down that road.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time we were driving to visit my brother and we had to drive through the town that I had been abused in. And I started having like all these weird, so we hold our anger in our bowels and our lower stomach, which is where a lot of like GI issues come from.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I need a bathroom now. And he was like, what is going on? And I'm like having this shits in this A&W driving through Brandon, Manitoba. And he's like, what is going on? Like, you haven't even had anything to eat. And I'm like, how do I explain to him that as we're pulling up and I'm seeing road signs, all I'm picturing is my uncle pushing my face into that mirror while he's telling me what he wants to do to me.
Mm-hmm.
While he's molesting me. I'm like, I can't put that hurt on him. Right? How do I explain that to him? I've been there, right? I've been there. I've done that. I had to explain it to him and be like, oh, okay, so this is what's going on. Right?
Yeah.
This might be where my abuser lives.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, good grief, why are we driving through here? Right?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, we should detour around this town next time, right? But those things, when they don't have to phase you,
Mhm.
I'm not going to jump into a hole with a client, because if I'm in a hole with a client, trying to lift them out of it, now I'm stuck in the hole.
Mhm.
But I will stand at the top, tie a rope to a tree, and I will fucking cheer you on so hard to come out of it. You will never have a bigger cheerleader.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a piece of it, is not asking someone how it makes them feel. For fuck's sakes, can we stop with that question in every form of therapy and help? Like, obviously outstanding. It's why we're here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
really?
For me, it's and again, I'll admit, I have never been to therapy. I fucking should. I need to go to therapy. I know I need to go to therapy. I know this because I do have a bunch of unresolved shit that I still have that still pops up. Maybe that'll be my 2026 goal, is I'll actually go to therapy. And I just haven't, just because I've just like, there's so many things. Like there's so many different things that I'm like, oh, well, there's this, and oh, well, there's this, and it fucking costs money, and blah, blah, blah. Like there's a bunch of fucking excuses and bullshit. I know. But I will say, like, for me, the whole, how did you say, there's a way that you say it, like that reciprocal asking, where like, it's why I failed the counseling course in university. I've talked about this on the podcast, because at one point I was like, oh, maybe I'll be a psychologist instead of going and being a cop. And then you had to take this one class where you had to counsel. It was like counseling class. And so they gave you like, here's the scenario. This person's a client. You need to counsel. You have to record it. Failed. Fucking miserably. Failed. Because to me, I was like, oh, this is your problem. Well, this is how you fix it. Here you go. Like, here's the solution. You should try this. Right. And the professor was like, no, Nikki, no. You have to help them find their own solution. And I was like, well, that's fucking stupid, because obviously they can't find the solution, because that's why they're fucking here. That's why they're here talking to me. And so that, as I'm just taking these people's
reason I'm not a psychologist.
Well, and so then it was like, it's like, so, well, why do you think that makes you feel that way? I don't fucking know. That's why I'm fucking here. That's why I'm fucking here, because I need you to tell me why I'm fucking feeling this way.
We have not created those kinds of thinkers since like the mid 80s.
Mm-hmm.
We aren't critical thinkers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Psychology is based on critical thinking, that you can actually follow it through to its own conclusion, that you can actually go back and you can analyze and you can look at things and you can actually come up with that shit. No, we live in a world of, hey Siri, how do I roast a chicken? Like nobody even thinks of things anymore. Like spice blends are so popular because nobody knows how to play with fucking spices to figure out how to make something taste unique and good.
Yeah.
Like, we don't create critical thinkers anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get in trouble all the time from people, from other coaches or ICF coaches or whatever, or therapists that are like, girl, you can't tell people what to do. And I'm like, no, you want to know why my clients come to me? Because I'm like, you're going to go home and you're going to put on some damn pants. And then you're going to do this. And then you're going to do that. And then you're going to do this. And you're going to text me proof of this every single day for the next 2 weeks, or week until I see you again.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, you're having a meltdown tonight? Cool. We're going to hop on a phone call. We're going to text. You need to go for a drive? Great. You need me to show up at your dad's funeral? Perfect. I'll be there. You know what? Let me sing at your dad's funeral so that you have someone, because you can't find a singer. What do you need? Literally, I sang at a client's dad's funeral this summer. Like, what do you need? That breaks all of the rules of typical psychology. It breaks all of the rules of that.
But it helps.
You want to come and sit on the couch at 11:30 at night because you're having a full-blown meltdown and you don't know how to cope? Cool.
Yeah.
I'm putting lights on my Christmas tree. Join me. Like, you're helping me clean my kitchen because that's what I'm doing at 11:30 at night on a Tuesday. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's a lack of vulnerability, which doesn't create connection. And we are in a world that is more disconnected than ever and more connected than ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that's happening and you show up and you're like, oh, I'm just another number. I'm just another person. I'm just another slot in your calendar. You don't give a shit about me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care that I'm going home and having to build all my walls back up because I'm walking back into a horrible situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is a big piece of it. And I think that it's try different people, try different things. If you're like,
Mhm.
no, I need help and I'm not the right fit or I'm not the right cost, cool.
Mhm.
There's 500,000 more of people doing this kind of work on this planet. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
interview another one, interview another one, interview another one, interview another one.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is,
It's for you.
yeah, that is the key. Find what works for you, because that is, and that is a part. And I've talked about this on the podcast before too, about, if you do get, the work assigned psychologist and you go and it doesn't work the first 1 or 2 times, well, then that's it. You're not going back. Like
Well, now you hate therapy and therapy doesn't
Mhm.
work and all those
Mhm.
things. I'll never forget the
Mhm.
day one of my first responder clients, she'd been attacked on the scene. She's giving me permission to talk about her story, but I won't name names, obviously. But she'd been attacked on a scene. She'd been raped. There was all these issues. And the work psychologist literally told her to go home and iron, cook for her family, and fold laundry to help her tap into her femininity, because it would help her heal from it.
Oh my God.
And she reached out and I was like, what the actual, like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my word, no wonder you hate therapists.
Yeah.
Because that's the garbage they're telling you.
Yeah. 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 That's not, yeah. Well, guys, like listeners, if you have listened to this and you're like, yeah, this is resonating with me and I want to go and see Dawn, I will be putting the information in the show notes, and you can get a hold of her and you can do some unconventional shit. But I think, yeah, the big message from it is, if the first one doesn't work, go to the second one, go to the third one, go to the fourth one, go until you find somebody that's going to help you, somebody that's going to work, somebody that matches what you need, somebody that's going to help you with what you need help with. And it's not necessarily going to be the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that you go to. You're going to probably have to search until you find somebody that connects with you, that's going to help you with what you need. So, like, again, all the information is going to be in the show notes, guys, and reach out if you need it. And as always, reach out. And I know we say this too, reach out if you're struggling, reach out if you're struggling. I remember when I was struggling, I didn't want to reach out to fucking anybody. I was like, fuck off, let me be. I don't want to reach out. So, but if you know you're struggling and you have that little bit of determination, I would say, do a little research, do a little digging, take a look in the show notes, head to the website, do a little research. If you don't act on it yet, that's fine, but at least you've done the research. At least you kind of know a little bit about what's out there. So, no, I mean, Dawn, this has been incredible. Like, you've shared some really great stuff and really great, like, again, just little tidbits that people can take, which I always love. I love actionable kind of things that people can take from the podcast, because I find a lot of times we listen and we're like, oh, that was a really great story, but there's nothing in it for people to like take and go, let me actually fucking try this out. And you've given us a lot. So I really, really appreciate that. I'm just cognizant of our time, and I know that you are busy. And so I want to start to wrap up the podcast, but I love to wrap up with kind of fun rapid fire questions. And so I usually start, this one is usually kind of for first responders, but I'm going to throw it at you too, because it's my favorite question to ask. What is your favorite food or snack while you are working?
Food or snack while I'm working? Oh, I'm like a big believer in coffee.
Yep.
I'm like a bougie coffee maker. Like it's a process in my world, and I live on blueberries.
Oh, blueberries.
Obscene amounts of blueberries. Mm-hmm.
You must be very, very wealthy then, because the blueberries that I look at that are like $6.99 for the tiny pint, I'm like, my kids are like, blueberries. I'm like, get fucking bent $7 for blueberries.
Costco.
Yeah.
Freeze them during the summer. I'll eat them frozen all winter. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Smart.
No, I would literally I would live on ramen noodles and rice for the rest of my life to be able to have like a pack of blueberries. It's total of priorities. It's totally just a priority.
That's good though. That is good. And they're little, they're easy, they're portable, they're healthy.
They're sweet. They're good for inflammation, all the things. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Okay. You've given a ton of really great pieces of advice. So I'm not going to ask you that one, but what would you say has been the most unique location that you've gone to help somebody out?
Oh my gosh. I flew to New York one time to take a guy out for dinner and spend a day with him to help one of my clients know if she should date him. That was a fun one.
Oh my God.
Yep, that was a fun one. Honestly, probably in my car, or I've actually walked crime scenes with people where it was like all the places that had all the gross feels and the horrible memories. I've done hours of that, like up sides of mountains in blizzards, all over the place. No.
That is really cool. That is. I mean, it is. It's a unique calling that you have that would take you to a bunch of different places. So yeah, that's very cool.
I just fucking love humans, and I'm determined to shift this idea that we can have a society's normal level of broken.
Yes. That is a great way to end the podcast. Like that's a mic drop moment.
I'm like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Let's actually heal. Let's actually get people to the point of healing where they actually wake up in the morning and they're excited to be alive. And they know how to manage their feels.
I love that. Well, Dawn, this has been incredible. I mean, you've shared so many good things that I really hope, listeners, if there's something in this podcast that like resonated with you, share it with a friend, get a hold of somebody. If you know that there's somebody struggling and you're like, they've tried, 3 or 4 therapists and they hated them, share this with them. Let them even just listen to this and see if anything that Dawn says is something that, they go, oh my God, yes, I need that, or I want that. Share it with your coworkers. Share it with the world, tell your friends about it, because the more people that listen, the more people we can help. So Dawn, thank you so much for being on the show. Do you have any last words for our listeners? You are so worth fighting for. Like, so worth fighting for. Love that. I absolutely love that. One little step. And you can go through my website, thetaylorway.ca, and even just book a free consultation. And it's no pressure sales, because I'm not a fucking salesperson and I'm not going to bully anyone into doing help or doing work. Like, that's so not me. I'm like, you don't want to work with me? Great. But you can book a free consultation and we can even just have a conversation. Love that. You guys, on that note, have an amazing rest of your day. Check out the website. It'll all be in the show notes, and go tell a friend about this episode.
Well, that's it for today, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in, listening, giving me your time, your energy, and your attention. I completely appreciate it. Make sure you check out our next episode with another badass female first responder anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook at bluelinefitnesstesting.com. I hope you stay safe, keep your head on a swivel, and watch your six.